Good morning. Today is Monday, April 24th. Hope you're having an awesome week. We had a nice weekend this weekend with some warm temperatures. And so I want to go over Alameda County and specifically Pleasanton this week in our stats. Let's start with looking at the map of Alameda County, commonly known as the East Bay. Let's check it out right here. So Fremont in the south, Berkeley in the north, and then we're going to be looking in the Tri-Valley area here. So Dublin, Pleasanton, Livermore, right here is where we're going to be looking specifically today. Let's look at the stats. So what we are seeing right now is quite low inventory. So we're going to look at before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID. So last year we had some pretty good inventory, similar to what it was before COVID, and then now we're below that, right? So we have 700 houses available for sale. Last year was 922, so a little bit more than the previous year, and significantly less than pre-COVID, right? So like half the number of houses available for sale, right? But what's most important is how many houses are selling, right? So let's see how many houses are in contract, right? And we can see that there are less houses available, so hence there are less houses in contract where they're getting sold, right? So we can see here. So it's significantly less than before, so we can compare this to 2020, right? But about half the number of solds compared to last year. And the number we're very interested in is how much are they selling for? Right, so let's see here the median prices for the whole of Alameda County. Right here, so there's been quite a ramp up as we saw during COVID, and then it went down, and now we're definitely on the increase in median price. So right, for COVID, it was 940,000, right? We peaked in May of last year at 1.5, right? So we're definitely down from that, about 250,000, but we're definitely significantly up, right? From both the beginning of the year, right, $1 million, and from before COVID, right, $940,000. So prices definitely cooled last year, but as I've been talking about on our weekly calls, things have been heating up, right? So similar to looking at the number available for sale and number pending, let's look at months of inventory, right? So how much do we have, right? So as we can see here, we are a little bit higher than last year, right? But down a little bit from the beginning of the year, right? So 1.8 months of inventory, and then before we've had about 1.5-ish, right? So a little bit higher. And let's see, how long is it taking homes to sell? Right, so that's kind of the speed of the market, median days on market, right? So we are quite fast, right, at 11 days. So it kind of really jumped up towards the end of last year. Things were a little bit cooler during December timeframe, but we're 11 days median. So things that are priced well are selling very fast, right? So it's just about just under 2 weeks to sell a house, right? So things are things are quite healthy, and we have kind of, you can say, returned to a sense of a little bit of normal, with things moving in the springtime. Let's jump into specific city. Let's look at Pleasanton. Right. So we're definitely a little bit lower. We've come up a little bit. The inventory's kind of picked up a little. We're still pretty low though, right? So we're 43 houses for sale. Look at what happened in 2019, right? So we're still missing a lot of inventory compared to before COVID, right? So that's, the demand is there, but the supply has not kept up. And so we've only had 29 sales this month so far. Okay, for definitely on the lower end in Alameda. And let's see the days on market in Alameda. And we're in Pleasanton, right? And let's see the right. So we're quite fast, right? 8 days, meaning so just over a week, right? So things are flying off the shelf here. And let's look at how much houses are, right? So we've definitely cooled down, okay, but still quite high, right? So just 4 years ago, right? 5 years ago now, right? 2019, 1.2 median price. It jumped all the way up to 2 million, right? So we've cooled down from that to 1.7, but just look at this increase from the beginning of the year, right? Quite steep, right? Almost a $250,000 increase here, right? So there's the chart for median sales price in Pleasanton. So what's my take on the market from last week? So I think the California Dreams, right? If you heard of that down payment assistance program from the state, that basically $300 million went out where you shared equity in the house with the state in exchange for down payment assistance. That ran out in just under 2 weeks. And what we've seen in the market is that things have definitely started heating up, and it's still, there's still opportunities out there for buyers, and it's still, I think, quite a good time for sellers, I think, as you can probably tell. Some of the headlines, like I shared an article this week talking about the nationwide housing prices, you'll see that we've definitely lagged behind other parts of the country, right? So we've definitely had larger declines than other parts of the country. But what I'll say locally, from what I'm seeing, is that prices are still quite high. So it's still a good time to sell. And for buyers, I think your mindset has to be in the right place, in that there's not going to be significant discounts out there. But I think there are still definitely opportunities out there. For example, I have a client that got a house in single family in Santa Clara significantly below asking price, right? So there's still definitely opportunities out there for buyers and sellers. And if you want specific stats or specific cities, feel free to reach out and we will try to get to them. Hope you have an awesome week.